Hello friends! Welcome to puzzle piece number 1. When I was a child, I was very active. I did gymnastics, I twirled baton, I played sports, and I was always very small. But around the age of 10, I started struggling with my weight. I was in the 4th grade. It was a really hard year for me. I went through some emotional stuff that year, and I thought that I went through the emotional stuff because I had gained weight and it was just making my life so terrible. Now that I'm older and have spent a lot of money on therapy, I realized that the weight was probably a result of the emotional and mental stress and not the other way around. I believe that the true first puzzle piece to my weight loss, or perhaps you could refer to it as the table that you build the puzzle on, is emotional and mental health. And this is why I started recording the sauna sessions with Natalie videos. There is simply too much about the emotional and mental side to only do one puzzle piece video about it, which is why I will continue to do sauna sessions with Natalie videos touching on various aspects of my journey to emotional and mental health regarding weight loss and my relationship with my body. But back to our current topic. When I was young, I tried every diet and exercise program known to man and could still never get down to the weight that I wanted to be. And now, after decades of trial and error and research, my puzzle is coming together. I'm finally seeing the results that I was always working so hard for. I know now that I had multiple undiagnosed medical issues that were affecting my ability to lose weight. But the journey was long and frustrating. One of the most frustrating things was all of the answers I would get from well-meaning people as to why I wasn't losing weight. The one that annoyed me the most is when I would ask someone or Google, why aren't I losing weight? Or why can't I lose weight? The majority of the time, people told me I wasn't being honest with myself. One woman went as far as to say that 99.9% of the time, when someone is trying to lose weight and isn't succeeding, it's because they're not being honest with themselves. That they're not logging all of their calories and that they're not working out as much or as hard as they say or think that they are. This was infuriating to me because I log everything. I have been counting calories since I was 12 years old. I know how to do it, and half the time, if I didn't know the caloric value of something, I wouldn't even eat it. I worked out so hard. I would work out until I passed out or threw up a lot. I had personal trainers who were kicking my butt and were like, I don't know, what are you eating when you're at home? And then I would write out everything I was eating and they were always like, I don't know, if this is what you're eating, I don't get it. So even though the point that this woman was trying to make is valid, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who think, well, I just won't add the creamer that I put in my coffee or the little bit of sugar that I put in my tea, or people thinking that they have one serving of something but not really looking at what a serving is. But to say 99.9% of people who aren't losing weight, it's because of that, I don't buy that at all. I've also had doctors who I would go to and I would express that I just wasn't seeing any weight loss and I was in the gym all the time and I was counting my calories, and they would look at me and say, well, you're not that overweight. And my thing always was, well, but I'm a little overweight, and for as much as I work out and for as much as I eat, I should be smaller. I should be my ideal weight. And so they would tell me, log what you're eating and bring it in and show me. I would bring it in and they would look at me with skepticism and say, is this really all you eat? And I'm like, yes. And they said, you didn't miss anything, or you didn't undershoot it when you say you had 8 ounces of chicken breast. Was it cooked in butter? Was it fried? And I'm like, no, I know how to count those things. But most of the time it was met with them not believing me, looking at me and thinking I was just looking for an easy way out and dismissing it. I was blown off so many times by fitness professionals and doctors who did not trust me. There is no way that I am 0.1% of the population who was completely honest about the amount of calories I was eating and how hard I was working out, but still not losing weight. There's just no way. So if that's where you are right now, Solidarity. I feel you, and we will get to the bottom of this. But here is the thing. As condescending as those doctors and fitness professionals who said those things to me were, if you don't have down the habit of creating a consistent caloric deficit, there's no way to truly determine whether there are other medical issues keeping you from your weight loss goals. So that is why having a consistent caloric deficit is the first puzzle piece. I know it's not super exciting and it's stuff you've heard everywhere, but go with me on this. So the science of weight loss is actually pretty simple. Notice I said simple and not easy. And that is calories or energy in versus calories or energy out. If you consume more energy than you expend, you will gain weight. If you consume less energy than you expend, you will lose weight. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Sounds just like, okay, I'll eat less and work out more. For a lot of people, that does work. But for you and I, the 0.1%, we're having trouble with it. And weight is such a frustrating thing because it's not just taking into account fat, which is what we're trying to lose. It's everything in your body. So muscle mass. You can gain weight gaining muscle, which is a good thing, and you can lose weight losing muscle, which is a bad thing. And your weight fluctuates based on water retention. And there are a lot of factors that can cause you to shed or retain water weight, either hiding the fact that you've lost fat or tricking you into thinking you've achieved fat loss on one day and then gained it all back on the next. But over time, if you have a consistent caloric deficit, you will lose fat unless there are medical issues holding you back. Sometimes these medical issues are causing inflammation and water retention. So while you actually may be losing some fat, the scale never goes down. And after weeks of being hungry and killing yourself in the gym and feeling exhausted without feeling better or looking better and seeing zero to minimal results, you just throw it all away and binge on pizza and ice cream because what the heck is the friggin' point of being this miserable and killing yourself to see absolutely no results? Then a month later, you hear about a new fad or a new diet and you think, oh, this is finally the answer. So you try again and the cycle continues. And when I say I've tried every diet known to man, I mean, I guess I can't say that definitively, but dear God, I feel like I have tried every diet known to man. So if that is you, honey, I have been there. And it is not a fun place to be. You are not lazy. You are not lacking dedication. And you don't have to accept defeat. I've even had people tell me, well, maybe your body just doesn't want to be small. Maybe you're just meant to be this size. I refuse. I refuse to accept that. And the thing is that the people who told me that probably were going through the same things that I was going through and had been told the same type of 99.9% of the time, it's because you're not honest with yourself, BS. And so they gave up because they thought, well, I'm doing everything I can and it's not working, so I guess this is just how my body wants to be. But don't give up. It may take time and finding the right doctors who can help you get to the bottom of it. But if you don't give up, you will find the answers, like I finally have. So here's my challenge to you. Before you start spending money on blood work and lab tests and visiting different doctors, commit to having a specific caloric deficit for 4 to 6 weeks and log everything. Because when you start to write down on that piece of paper that a stevia packet that on the box says that it's 0 calories, but the packet says that it's 3 calories, when you start writing down 3 calories, doctors are going to take you seriously and realize, okay, if they're not being honest with themselves, they probably wouldn't put 3 calories on there. So log everything. This will help you when you start trying to find a doctor because you will have it, a hard copy of what you've been doing, and they can see, okay, maybe there is a problem. Also a good thing to be writing down how you feel in the morning, how you feel after each meal, because if you have any undiagnosed food allergies or sensitivities, this could be a good indication. If you lose energy, if you have stomach cramps after you're eating certain types of food, log that. If you feel grumpier after eating, if you skip a meal and you feel better, or if you skip a meal and you feel worse, log how you're feeling, write things down, and log your workouts. There are a couple of ways to be as close to certain as possible that you have a certain caloric deficit every day. If you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, it makes it a little bit easier, but you can do it without these devices. If you have an Apple Watch, it just makes it so easy because the activity app at the end of the day will show you what your active burn is. And then when you're logging your calories, use a MyFitnessPal type of app or Lose It or something like that. I personally like MyFitnessPal. And at the end of the day, take the amount of calories you ate and subtract it from your active burn. And the number you have at the bottom is your caloric deficit. Now, they say that a pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. If you want to lose 2 pounds a week, which is what I would recommend for this experiment, then you want to have a deficit of 7,000 calories over the span of a week. So that makes it kind of nice, because if you have one day where you maybe didn't eat as much and you had a hard workout and you had a huge caloric deficit, that means that the next day you can even it out a little bit. You just want to make sure that at the end of the week you have that 7,000 calorie deficit. If you don't have a device that can give you a very clear view of what your daily burn is, then just do a calculator. You can do the one that's on Lose It or MyFitnessPal. Tell it you want to lose 2 pounds a week after you put in all your information, and stick to those calories. I do recommend, if you're doing that, to always pick sedentary. Unless you are on your feet all the daggum time, and honestly, even if you are on your feet all the time, pick sedentary, because then whatever physician you go to cannot have a thing to say about it. You can say, well, I actually do this all day, but I picked sedentary. That's what I did, and I still didn't lose weight. So you want to err on the side of caution. Just stick to those calories. And if one day you go over a little bit, the next day just stay under a little bit. And really, really, really stick to it for 4 to 6 weeks. When you're dieting and you're exercising, if you have a lot of weight to lose, you're gonna have to stick to it a lot longer. So 4 to 6 weeks in the grand scheme of things to get to the bottom of it and to know for sure whether or not you have a medical issue, or maybe you're not being completely honest with yourself. 4 to 6 weeks is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. If after 4 to 6 weeks of sticking to this like glue and being extremely honest and diligent, if you don't see any difference, or very, very small difference, then chances are something else is going on. But now you are armed with this information that, look at this, I stuck to this for this long and I saw no results. This is not what should have happened for somebody like me eating and exercising like this. So you'll be armed with that when you start looking for physicians to help you get to the bottom of this. And if you find out through this that maybe you weren't 100% honest with yourself and you actually lost weight over this point in time, then you know if you just have some sort of caloric deficit, it doesn't even have to be as deep of a deficit as you had during this experiment, but some form of caloric deficit that is manageable for you will eventually lead to weight loss. So if you just give it time, you will get there. Don't be frustrated if this works. That's a good thing. In my next puzzle piece video, I will delve into the first medical diagnosis I was given that was keeping me from reaching my goals. And they think that I had this issue since I was 10 years old with the symptoms that I gave them. And it was a very specific doctor that I had to go to. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. I know weight loss can be so frustrating and confusing, and I want to be there to empathize with everyone because it has been such a struggle for me, and I know that I'm not the only one. So just stay the course and you will figure this out. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment below, and ask any questions you have, and keep looking out for that next puzzle piece video. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye, friends.